Alright, so we're going to dive into this, but I'm going to do it from here. So I'm just going to have this first battle, I think, and then I'll explain some stuff a little bit later. First thing you need to know about Witcher crap is that every single enemy, they've got a specific area that they roam around in, and it's, you know, it's a bit weird that they're not going to come after me, and if I get them to come over here, and follow me, he's just going to stop attacking me and hang back there now, because his field of movement is just beyond this line here, and that's sort of where he hangs out. Now he's going to come and play with me. When you start the game, you go through a basic tutorial and it shows you how to move and everything, but I'll show you the basics. I'll just get out my notes, actually. I have notes. It's pretty crazy. I'll show you my notes for a second. Wow, secret notes. Lots of notes. Gonna put those over here. That sounds pretty good. Movement. Okay. First things first. Dodge versus roll. So there are two ways to dodge attacks in this game. One of them. Crap. There's three guys here. I don't know if I can do it. Let's do that. One of them is like that, which is just it's double tapping W, A, D, or S. S going backwards, obviously. It's just double tapping the movement keys to... I'm going to get around here, so they actually start doing more. You get around here. There we go. Okay, and you double tap the movement keys to move somewhere, so I'm going to double tap to the side right now. There you go. But this is a really tiny area to be moving in. See, I couldn't see that enemy, so you tend not to want to be in close quarters because of the third-person view. It's not great. And that, what I just did there was a parry. So if you're blocking... Oh, they're actually attacking far further in this one. Yeah, they're going to stop now. If you tap the block key like that, just like, just a little bit, while the guys are coming at you, you incur the wrath of... you essentially parry them. And to parry... is I'll tell you this actually just before I tell you how to parry. You hit the Z key. I'm playing this all on PC, by the way. You hit the Z key to lock onto a target when you're looking at them, so that you don't unlock off them. Because if I do this, I can just look around, and it's kind of crappy. Lock on is really, really good. You want to lock onto an enemy so that you can easily, constantly stay faced them and block everything. There's a cat on me now. There's something that I cannot help. There's now a cat on me in real life, not in the game. Obviously, there's no kitties around here. What am I doing? That's right, parrying. Parrying. So, works much the same in Dark Souls, and Demon Souls and the Soul series in general. You just tap the block key just before they hit you, and you do a little parry attack. You don't actually damage them, and that's something important to notice, that in Dark Souls, it's a real damaging move, but instead, in here, you just incapacitate them. It's really, really strong. So I just do that, you do it. As you can see, you actually have to do the quick block about half a second after that red shining thing happens over their health bar. See, if I hold block, I'm just blocking attacks. But I'm going to swap targets here because he's coming back. God damn it! There we go. He's going to come back here. If I just if I do a little bit too before, oh crap! If I block just before the red thing, I don't do anything. But if I block just as the red thing comes up over his name bar, I will parry him and knock him back and do some serious damage. Afterwards, you don't do serious damage as it goes. I don't know where he's going. Bandits just walked off, and this guy's facing the other way. So another thing you should know is that combat in this game, AI in this game is a little bit buggy. Combat is pretty smooth when you get used to it, but the AI is buggy as crap. So this guy's just sitting here, staring at this woman. He's distracted by large memories, potentially. So I'm going to stab him in the back, get his attention. And seeing as he's alone, I'm just going to let him sort of strike me every now and then, and I'm going to parry him. Except he's bugged out and he's not attacking me. Ow! This cat is stabbing me in the legs. This guy's not doing anything. Obviously, if you attack an enemy from head on, he's just going to straight up block it. Oh, is he doing anything anymore? No, I'm just going to get behind him and crit him again.
Come on, come closer.
And if you hit a enemy too many times, front on, he's going to parry you himself. So try not to chain attacks too much. Like probably three chained attacks maximum, or at least three Oh, sorry, 2 blocked attacks maximum. This guy's just doing nothing. I'm just going to get rid of him. There we go. And there's the other bandit over there. This is really buggy. I'm going to loot. No, can't loot him, apparently. Game's bugged out. Okay, so I just showed all of you guys what is it? Dodge versus roll. So that was this was dodge, double tapping obviously. But if you tap and hit the spacebar, you will roll, and that's very much the same as dodging, except it puts you further away from the enemy. So if you need to gain distance, you hit the spacebar and you roll away from the enemy, rather than just double tapping and dodging. The real trick is doing the double tapping and dodging. It's really, really strong because not only are you dodging their attacks, but you're still close by so you can hit them. When you roll, it's really hard to close that distance gap to get back in and attack them, so it's not really useful. The only time that roll is super useful is if you're trying to get away from sort of an AoE ranged attack, or if you're trying to cast a sign, which I'm selecting with the mouse wheel up here, and you can use tab to select the different signs, which I'll cover in a little bit anyway. So, I'm still doing sword fighting with this bandit dude. He's just chilling. I'm gonna... Screw it, you know what, he's standing still. I've told you about dodges and rolls. I've told you about parries versus humans. Oh, by the way, versus beasts, you cannot parry beasts, as far as I know. I've tried parrying beasts before. If you do this while against beasts, they're just gonna claw your face off. So, don't sit there with a sword against a beast. It's not gonna do jack. So you can parry humans, you can't parry beasts. What you should do at the beginning of the game, which I should mention just before we move on, is that you should pick up a specific talent. So I'm going to go to my character. It's really, really useful. If you go to the combat one, so I'm putting most of my stuff into Igni, because I'm a pyromaniac. I love my pyro stuff in games. I'm full pyro in Skyrim, it's great. But the first thing I did that I saw in this entire game has been so useful is arrow deflection. Arrow deflection is incredible. Basically, it just deflects an arrow while parrying, and it gives you an adrenaline point. I should know what that means, but I don't. Next level, perfectly timed parries reflect arrows back at the attacker. I haven't gone for that because I feel like it's a bit too hard, and it's a bit contextual, and it probably isn't used very often, and it's only for arrows. It's not for magic or anything. And as long as I can deflect arrows, I can just move forward until they're forced to draw their sword, so I don't really care. But that's a really good idea. Get arrow deflection, and now when you're doing this, you will start deflecting arrows automatically. And you don't have to do anything, you don't have to time anything, your character just does it. Here's a cat. Cat's going down here. It's probably going to get up on me in another couple of seconds. Back that way, there you go. Cat! So yeah, arrow deflection. Real good stuff. What else am I looking at? Signs. I'll go through signs quickly now. So this is at the beginning of the game as well. It explains what the signs do and why they're here. I'll go through them. This little blue one over here, they're color-coded as well, which is kind of great. It's sort of hard to tell for the color coding, so I don't know if that's saturation or whatever on my monitor, but it's hard to tell which sign is which. Fun fact, you do not need to hold down tab to look at this. You can just tap it, hands off. It's sweet, you can look at it. And that slows down time. It basically freezes time in the game. It slows it to the point where it doesn't matter, but you can still hear real-time screams as in the distance there. Cool stuff. Ard sign. So the Ard sign, far right sign, is the telekinetic blast. It's Fus Ro Dah, and it's short range, more of a spread. Simple as that. You've got the... the Axii sign, which is influences an opponent's mind, and that basically stuns an opponent. Simple as that. What it can also do, if something is flying or on a horse or something like that, and you're able to cast the sign, it knocks them to the ground, and really, it screws with them. So, yeah, if you see anybody on a horse running towards you with a sword, Axii them, and they'll be chucked off their horse. If they're not running, if they're not galloping on their horse, they will stay on their horse. They'll still be stunned, but they'll stay on their horse. So wait until they're charging at you, and they'll fall off their horse. It's pretty good. So that's Axii is a really, really useful skill just for getting opponents to stop and letting you free whack them for a little bit. Just letting you smack on them with your sword for a little while, because your sword is the biggest damage dealing item in the game. And that's what you want to be fighting with most. You want to be looking for opportunities for people to look for you to get in and use your sword and hack things to pieces. At least this far it has been for me. There may be a lot more to do with potions later in the game, but I haven't really gone that far. Igni deals fire damage. It has sort of a small percentage chance to make an enemy catch on fire, which does tons of damage. And I can tell you, this is really great if you're versing any massive flying beast. If you're versing griffins or crap, I can't remember what they are. They're like giant rooster things. But anything that's flying with wings and feathers, harpies it works well on. Harpies aren't bosses, but they burn to a crisp pretty quickly. But yeah, Igni, fire damage, burning, great. And that's why I've been leveling it up quite a lot, because it works really well against beasts, which are, to me, the hardest thing to fight in the game. Massive beasts they tend to be vulnerable to magic damage, to fire damage. And regardless, I just love fire damage in games. It's a lot of fun. So if I ever come up against anything with resistance, I just usually switch to Axii and don't care. We got Quen here, Protective Shield, which it's really useful for lumbering, tanky enemies that don't take that much damage and that force you to sort of run away from them a lot. You want to keep your Quen up, and you want to... It can only take one massive hit of damage, and it protects you for that hit, and then you have to recast it on yourself. But yeah, it helps you sort of keep in range to do enough damage, to trade enough damage with an enemy at least, before you have to retreat again. So yeah, if you're versing, I used that against the golems in the first caves, where you're following this mage that's playing hide and seek with you for a second. And he's trying to get away from the wild hunt. So if you reach that part, no spoilers, but combat spoilers, you can use Quen to get past the giant golem things. And here's the cat again. I'm going to face that way, hopefully the cat will go away. Yarden is a magic trap. Now Yarden is probably the least useful of all the signs, except for specific enemies like the Wraiths. Wraiths are enemies that attack you, and if you attack them or get in their way or are too far away, they will disappear and then reappear behind you and strike you. So it's really useful for those enemies, because once you cast it and they disappear and they appear in front of you and you've cast it in a circle around you, they will be so slow they can't do anything. So you can just hack at them a couple of times, dodge out of their blows and hack at them again. So Yarden's really good for that. But other than that, I haven't found massive uses for it. It was actually pretty good against the golem, but I think it was more useful to use Quen. I was sort of switching between the two, but I found Quen to be a little bit more... Quen to be a little bit more useful than Yarden, because it didn't matter. He was already slow. Nobody really cared. And those are the signs. You can come up into this nifty wheel by hitting tab. And checking them out, or you can just use your scroll wheel and you can see that at the top left all of my signs are changing, and that's PC for you. I'm just gonna lock onto this guy. this guy in the back here is cheering me on while everybody cowers in fear. That's beautiful. I think I'm gonna burn... Okay, I cast the shield on myself because I'm an idiot. Igni, I'm gonna burn this guy. Gotta wait. So once you've used your sign, you have to have full stamina, and running and dodging, by the way, uses your stamina. That's the top left yellow bar. And when you use a sign, it completely depletes your stamina bar. So I'm going to show you that here. Gonna light this guy on fire. He did ignite because I've put a lot of points into Igni, so it's got a really high chance to do stuff. And then I'm just going to kill him because I don't care. And he was no real danger to me. Gonna pick up the long sword. Gonna put away my sword so nobody's scared anymore. There we go. Everybody's calmed down. They're all fine. I swear to God, there were 3 enemies, and one of them's just maybe it was this guy. I don't know. Screw that. But I'm gonna go find some crazy things to fight. What am I talking about next? I'm talking about healing, food, and meditation.